Okay, so I said I would give a update on the 280, and yeah, so here it is. Really started stripping a lot of stuff off of it, and the cart that we bought at the scrapyard is just about full already. So yeah, I mean, so we're finding, like I showed you guys in the first video of this car, it looked really good as far as, you know, rust goes. So obviously when you start pulling off all the weather stripping and you start pulling everything apart, you're gonna find things. So we did find a little bit up here. I'm gonna have to replace this little strip, and then a little over here. Maybe this may be savable. Some of this is actually just glue from the weather stripping. So maybe we'll dig this more out and see if we can clean that up a little better. But that little section right there has a couple holes in it. So, but as far as the back bumper goes, there is no rust or holes. So I did order a kit that covers these holes up, okay? So you can delete that. It was pretty cheap. I forget where I got it from, but it's just a laser cut sheet metal. Fits there, there, and I think here and here. So we got that coming. And then, yeah, I mean, if you look at the drip rails, I mean, look at, no rust. Up in here, a little bit of surface, but really not that bad. And then all along the top, it's in really good shape too. So yeah, we got the seats out, we got the quarter windows out, got the windshield out. There's the hatch right there. So another point of concern was right over here. So we're gonna have to fix this. It's definitely got 3 or 4 little holes here. I did spray a little bit of rust reformer into the hole just to make sure in case there's anything back in here that was starting to rust, that gets, you know, the rust reformer on it. So I'm thinking of probably starting here, cutting this out, and then just replace that. So I don't want to like do body filler over any rust. That's a big mistake. Okay, we're not gonna do that. Whatever I have to do to replace it, I'm gonna replace it. Okay, and then, I mean, this is like amazing down here. This is the area where I was most concerned. And you can see, look at that. Totally fine. Okay, you know, the dashboard is obviously gone, but I have seen people redo these dashboards with like fiberglass and body filler and using some of the spray foam to fill in the cracks. And then they come out looking like brand new. So I'm gonna look into that. If not, I still have the cover, okay? This is the cover that came with it, and we can still use this. Like, I mean, even whenever I went to go look at this car, I didn't even realize it had a cover on it, but see. So yeah, I mean, we could do that. We could even, you know, somehow attach this to that so it doesn't, you know, move around. But I may try to fix the dash, but we'll see. So let me put this back, and yeah, got a lot of other parts over here. Tail lights, they're all in good shape. The cowl's in excellent shape. No rust whatsoever on this. That's pretty rare to get these without rust. Okay. The back has a little bit of surface, but that's, I mean, nothing through. So we'll use rust reformer and we'll scuff it up. And, you know, we can do some epoxy primer on this, but this is all definitely not any kind of major rust. Okay. Let's see, the windshield is right there, and that's in really good shape. What else? The hood's in good shape. No rust here. You know, this this is an area where they do rust, and it's got a little bit of a surface stuff, but nothing through. So I did use a little bit of paint stripper just to see how it worked on this little section here. I just kind of wanted to see, you know, as far as stripping this off, and it worked great. So paint stripper, I left it on for about 30 minutes and the paint scraped right off down to bare metal. So that's why I put a little bit of this self-etching primer on it, because it was just a test spot. And I don't, you know, it's gonna be a little while before I get to do the whole car, and I didn't want it to start rusting. So I just sprayed a little bit of a self-etch on there, and then, you know, we'll go after it later. But I just wanted to try it out. And and honestly, I'm glad I did, because there's actually 3 layers of paint on this car. So this is the primer from the factory. Okay, then there was the original color, which is the 240. I guess they call that racing green. And then on top of that, they used another color. And I don't know what that was. And you can see, like in the edges here, of where it's starting to flake off. Let me see if I have something. You can kind of see right in this area here there's the, you know, they didn't pull, when they painted it, they didn't pull any trim off. They just painted right up to it, and you can see it. Okay. And see, that's why it looks a little bit different. Like the racing green looks a little different than this green. But other than that, I mean, it's gonna be a little more stripping than I had anticipated originally. But you can also see here too, where they repainted it. They left the grill on and then just painted right over it. And this is the spray through the grill. So the wheel well does have surface rust, and it looks like someone tried to use some POR 15 on it, and that's starting to come off. But I have some ideas for this car that are a little bit, I don't know, kind of radical. I don't know if I'm gonna go back to all the stock interior. It's in not great shape, and for me to like source all this stuff could cost a lot of money. So, and when I drained the gas tank had, you know, the gas itself was like just totally brown. And so what I'm thinking is maybe doing a fuel cell in this thing, and then do a little bulkhead off the back here. Okay, you know, like a custom bulkhead that comes up and then has a gasket on the window, and just go ahead and cut the tank out. You know, I wouldn't say do that, you know, what I'm saying here to do, if this was like a mint condition 240, but it's a 280. Okay, 280s are not as sought after, and they sold way more 280s than 240s. So, you know, this is not the, you know, the end of the world if I do some cutting on this car. Trying to keep it original is more expensive than doing custom stuff. Just for the fact of trying to source the parts. The parts are expensive. The parts may still not even be good. And it's still gonna be all used parts that you get for it. You know, all the interior panels, a lot of them are cracked. So here's one here that just cracked. It's just in pieces, so that you can't even use it. You see how everything in the car is very brittle. You know, it just, you can see it. It's just so brittle from the years of heat and, you know, whatever. So, you know, I know one guy who used to make custom fuel cells for these that you don't have to cut the floor out and it goes up underneath. But I don't know, I think it would be easy to, you know, cut this and then run some bracing and, you know, put the fuel cell right there and kind of eliminate using the fuel door. You just pop the trunk to fill it up. And, you know, do like a roll bar with, you know, like a single support going this way, you know, put a brace across the strut tower here, brace across the front strut tower. Still don't know what I'm gonna do with this engine. Runs great, I may sell it. So if any of you guys are looking for a good L28 that runs, I'd be willing to sell it, including the ECU and all the wiring and everything. You know, I don't know what I would sell it for, but you know, if you know, give me a message or whatever if you guys are interested. Yeah, so the inside the car, when I got the seats out, everything looks pretty good on this floor pan over here. You know, I've been going through and just like taking up. What you want to do is if you see like a little rust, surface rust, come back a little bit on the sound deadening just to make sure it didn't go underneath. So I came back to where I thought, you know, until I didn't see any more surface rust, and it looks pretty good. You know, I mean, even up here, like this is all sound deadening, so this is not rust. But you can hear. Everything is solid. It's, you know, on this side, there is, like I said, on that side, there is a small hole right there that we are gonna have to fix when we flip the car over. But yeah, I mean, what else? There's really not much else to show. I'm gonna be probably pulling the motor out here shortly. Maybe this week, I'll have this all out of here. The whole drivetrain, we'll get that all taken out, pull the hood off, and yeah, pull the fenders, pull the bumper, and then we can start thinking about, you know, making the rotisserie that I was talking about the other day at the scrapyard. It all hinges on what, you know, what they're selling those for, because buying this cart for what they wanted for that, I don't know what they're gonna want for those big, huge metal wheels. They may think those things are worth a fortune, and it may not be worth it. So, you know, we still, like I said, the wagon or the wooden wheel kind of a thing that a lot of people do to tip the car over looks sketchy, but when I get everything off this car, when I get everything off the car and see how heavy it is, you know, if I can, like, I can almost pick it up now in the back. I mean, this car is already pretty light, okay? And if I get everything out of it and this car doesn't weigh much, I mean, it probably would be fine using some kind of a wooden thing that I just come off of here and tip it over, you know, because I have tons of room in this shop. So I can move it over, tip it this way or tip it the other way, it doesn't really matter, so that I can get to the bottom. But, you know, I still want to make something a little more custom, made out of metal and a little more permanent, because, you know, the wood's just kind of but I'll do it if I have to. So anyway, yeah, that's probably gonna do it for this video. Just wanted to show you guys the progress and the two little extra rust spots that I didn't see, which is not a big deal. And so the white car, I'm almost finished with this last door, and then that'll be the end of the parts that I've taken off to paint. Okay, I just need to base and clear this, and then after that, we're gonna paint the car, which is, you know, the roof quarters and the pillars, and that's it. This car will be done. We can start assembling it. So yeah, I'm really wanting to get this car done and get it out of here, because I need this room. I'm gonna need this shop to, you know, I'm probably gonna put the engine over here somewhere and the drivetrain. I already got the seats over here. I'll have to cover those whenever we do some painting, but yeah, it'll be nice to have this shop empty, so that we can continue on with this build. This build's really got me excited, and as you can tell, I wasn't going to start tearing it apart until I got the white car done, but I just keep thinking about this car and how it's gonna look, and it's motivating me to really, really work on it. So yeah, that's why I've gotten quite a bit done. But anyway, I just wanted to give you guys an update because I said I would, and that's gonna do it. Check you all later.